Hey guys, Dominic here, and today I'm just going to go through what should be happening in your lower back and a very common mistake in a dog down position, as this has kind of come up again for some people that were asking about this. So if I go into simple dog down position, this is not the right position for dog down. My feet here are too close to my hands, so the problem with that is that it's going to put too much weight all forwards into my shoulders and make it very hard to push the weight where it needs to be, which is back into my heels. So I need to move back a little bit too much. Like you'll notice some people will get into this position and that angle is not right. We're looking for more of like equilateral triangle, so we need to be a little bit further back. So if I move back into the right position, that's the right position, looks more like an equilateral triangle, and then what we'll start to work on is more of that lower back position, which we're going to focus on is here. So if I roll this on, you'll see what I'm talking about. So most people are in this position where the back now is rounded and it needs to be more flat. So what I need to do is actually tilt my pelvis so my back has a little bit more curve in it as opposed to being rounded. And one of the primary causes of this is that the calves and hamstrings are quite tight and we can't get the heels down onto the floor properly, and the pelvis is not in the right position. So if we want to get into the right position, I need to learn to kind of push my butt back and push my tailbone up towards the ceiling, and that's getting into a better position. You'll start to see a little bit more curve in that lower back and it looks less rounded. So if I roll on, you'll see I'm getting into a better position there. I'm going to flip-flop between the two positions now in a second. So again, that wasn't a great position a second ago. I'll roll it on again. That's better there, but that's not a great position. And you'll see if I roll back, good, bad type thing. Okay, so we want to stay out of this position where there's too much loading up on the arms and not enough loading back into the calves and hamstrings. We could then obviously mash the calves and hamstrings with a stick to try and massage those out, which will help the situation. But really it's about changing the pelvis in that position. And what I tend to think of is I think of lifting my toes up off the ground when I'm in this position, which will encourage my heels to push down towards the floor a little bit more. And I find it easier to get my pelvis in the right position. So if I roll on, there might be a little bit of a piece here where I do show that. So again, we don't want to be in that position, pretty bad. I'm pushing back properly there. Head is going through the arms, and you'll see, do I lift my toes? Yep. You can see it just there if you look at my toes. I'm trying to work on lifting my toes up to try and push my heels down a little bit more. Obviously, if I had a problem with my calves, I would just take my stick, I would mash the bejesus out of them with a stick, and that will help give me a little bit more mobility. And that's one of the major problems with people in this position, is that sometimes the hamstrings aren't in themselves a limiting factor. It's more of the ankle and the calves, and this will help, as will standing on the stick and just rolling the base of your feet by standing and rolling on it. Also, it'll help enormously is if you get 2 yoga blocks or a pair of bumper plates, put them down on the ground. And you'll notice when I get into position, it will be easier now to push my weight back, because I have some leverage using those blocks to push back into position. So if you try that, that would help and allow you to push more weight back into that position. You'll see back gets dead straight into the right position, more of a curve this way though, in that lower back if you try the blocks. So I hope some of those ideas work and might give you some things to think about when you're in a simple dog down position. You might need some blocks, you might need a bit of rolling on the calves, but overall if you could just video it and just see what's going on with that lower back to get your pelvis in the right position, and let us know how you get on. All the best.